Hey everybody. One of the first things that everybody does when they get a CNC is they realize that they probably need to surface their spoil board. So this is a quick video about that. And then I'm also going to show you why I chose which surfacing bit I chose. And that'll be at the end. So quick tutorial, stay with me and I'll get you through all of this. All right, we're going to fire up Vectric Pro. Any of the Vectric products will do the same thing. Create a new file. My spoil board is 48 by 32, and I just put in 1 inch. My MDF that's on the board is not 1 inch, but it doesn't matter. We're going off the material surface, and then everything else is pretty much normal. Now we're going to make a rectangle. This is real simple. This is one of the easiest things that you will do on your CNC. So again, 48 by 32. I do apologize. My mouse, the button for moving stuff, is failing me here. A little struggle. So we're just going to go ahead and move it down, and you can move it in place if you want to, but that's probably not the best way. Come over here and center it. It's the upper button. I had a moment. So now it's perfectly centered on your material. So this sounds like a good idea, except your bit probably isn't going to cut those corners if you do it the way it is designed right now. Okay, we're going to go over to Toolpaths and look at a couple bits. The first one is the RC2265. This is the one that I prefer. Really, I'm just showing you this diameter here. This is D1 if you're looking at the schematic there. And basically, I'm showing you that the bit is over 1 inch. If you're wondering about D on the schematic, that was 1.5. This is the Whiteside, which is probably the most common bit that hobby CNCists use, and it's 1 inch wide. Both of these bits are over 1 inch, so if we did half of that for our offset, it would be 0.5, and that will give us a good boundary where our bit is going further than our surface material. So we'll do an offset. There you go. I'm going to go back here and deselect this because we just don't need it.
So this is my 48 by 32, real simple. I've got the reels, it's just drilled in. None of that matters for the spoil board. First thing I'm gonna say is, if you have a brand new spoil board, you're probably just gonna take off just this micro fraction, and I'll put that in the video so you can see that. But for me, I'm actually clearing my spoil board because I've got a bunch of stuff going on, and I think this ridge right here is the biggest, so I'm just gonna program. And it says 0.038, so I'll go 0.04, and hopefully all this will be done.
Okay, I'm going to go ahead and start working on the toolpaths. And I always pin it just so it doesn't move. And then my brain's rebooting. Select your vector and then go over to Pocket Toolpath. And then everything's just setting it up. So like I said earlier, I'm going to do 0.04. So 0.4. Obviously, my last Pocket Toolpath, I had a couple tools there. So we're going to go down there and remove those. And then I'm going to select the RC2265 from Amana. I'm not going to say that it's the best bit in the world, but for the 1/4 inch shank, I haven't found anything better. So your cutting surface is 1.078, comes with a programmed 80% step over. I think that's extremely too high for spoil board. I'll change that in a minute. The feed rate and the plunge rate could probably be sped up a lot, but I didn't for this. I did knock down the step over to 60%. As long as you have over 50%, you're giving each path 2 runs. I'm doing raster just because offset, I don't know, it's annoying to me. 1 pass, no ramp, none of that. Give it a good name and you're good to go. I've said it in a lot of my other videos. Naming is really important when you get into CNC. If you give things quick names, months from now, when you go back, you're not going to be able to find what you want. And because it's G code, you're not going to be able to figure it out. Okay, so this is what you're looking at in the pre-programming. So I'm going to knock down the speed at the beginning, but I'll speed it up. Reset the preview, make sure you're seeing the right thing, and click play, and you'll see that it's covering everything. Now we're just going to speed it up. It's like paint drying. And I finally figured out what I was trying to do here. So select the vector again, and we're going to go ahead and make that pocket toolpath for the 0.01. I like having a finishing path like that, just in case I don't get quite enough, which oddly enough in this video is exactly what happened. So go ahead and name it again, and of course make sure that it's a good name so you know that this is the 0.01 version. All right, now we're going to select both toolpaths, and before I save it, I want to go over here and look at the time, and this will show you an estimate of how long it will take to cut your paths. Those were quite wrong off of my machine, but it'll give you an idea. Now we're going to save, and I'm going to do visible toolpaths to multiple files because I don't want this grouped together. They're 2 separate files. We just happen to make them at the same time. I'm going to switch from my Laguna to Gerbil. I can use that Onefinity stuff if I want to. I'm just used to Gerbil, so in a pinch, I always like to just go with the simplest thing out there for programming because NC code, G code is simple in itself. So why go with something more complicated? Here, we're just going to figure out what our naming convention is. You want to go in and make this a lot simpler because whatever is left there, it's actually going to save it twice. So it's actually going to say spoilboard depth 0.041. Okay, the next step is going to be slightly controversial. I'm going to go ahead and set my X and Y off of a 1/4 inch bit so that my Onefinity knows exactly where home is. If you use a large surfacing bit, it's not going to want to do a good XYZ probe like this. So I find if you're shooting for an exact point, this is a better method.
You might want to do it this way.
And then I'll flip it over, mount the new bit, do a Z, add some squiggly lines to your spoil board just so you can see where everything is being cut. And then we're just surfacing the board. I sped this up 1400%. So if y'all could all add those really cool comments about my video being too slow, I'd really appreciate that. So helpful, guys. While we're wrapping up this part of the video, I want to talk about the next part, which is just my little experiment that I'm showing about the difference between 90-degree cutting bits and 45-degree cutting bits or surfacing bits, and why I like the 45. A 90-degree gives you a very violent cutting edge. There is no lead in, there's no softly walking in like a ramp would do to your surface. Now, if you're doing MDF and you're doing 0.04, it doesn't matter. But if you're cutting something, a harder wood, you'll see that the 45-degree will have very few problems. You can see that tiny blowout right there. And, you know, like I said, this is more geared towards slab surfacing. But then you come over here with a 90-degree and boom, look at that. Tore out that whole section. So people always say the Whiteside is the most wonderful bit in the world. It's really cheap. It's great. I kind of agree that it's pretty awesome for the price. But to me, I'd rather have the better bit that's going to do the perfect job one time than something that might cause my, you know, critical failure. So that's really it. Like and subscribe, please. It's how I grow. It's how I keep getting to do more cool things with these machines. See you soon.